the Enfield Poltergeist. Welcome back to Dark Veil Stories. Tonight, we journey to a quiet suburb in London, where an ordinary family was thrust into the heart of one of the most terrifying and well-documented hauntings in history. This is the story of the Enfield Poltergeist. In 1977, the Hodgson family lived in a modest house in Enfield, North London. The family consisted of Peggy Hodgson, a single mother, and her 4 children: Margaret, Janet, Johnny, and Billy. Life was simple but happy, until one fateful night in August. It began with strange noises, knocks and bangs that seemed to come from nowhere. Peggy thought it was just the children playing, but the noises grew louder and more frequent, as if something unseen was moving through the house. One night, as the children were getting ready for bed, a loud crash echoed through the house. Janet, the 11-year-old daughter, screamed as her bed shook violently. The chest of drawers moved across the room by itself, blocking the door. Peggy rushed in, but no one was there. The children were terrified, and Peggy was at a loss. She called the neighbors, and together they tried to make sense of the strange occurrences. But the disturbances continued. Objects flew across the room, and strange voices filled the air. "I am here." Word of the haunting spread, and soon the house was swarming with reporters, photographers, and paranormal investigators. Among them were Maurice Grosse and Guy Lyon Playfair, members of the Society for Psychical Research. They spent months documenting the events, recording over 30 hours of strange noises, voices, and even levitations. Janet was often at the center of the activity. Witnesses claimed to see her levitate, thrown across the room by an unseen force. She spoke in a deep, unnatural voice, claiming to be an old man named Bill who had died in the house years earlier. "I'm Bill, and this is my house." The Hodgson family was desperate. Janet was tormented by the spirit, waking up with unexplained bruises and bite marks. The poltergeist activity became so intense that the family couldn't sleep, living in constant fear. Despite the investigators' best efforts, no one could explain what was happening. Theories ranged from hoaxes to psychological disturbances, but the evidence was overwhelming. Something was haunting the Hodgson family. After nearly 2 years of torment, the activity began to fade. The family slowly returned to a semblance of normalcy, though they were forever changed by the experience. Janet later claimed that the haunting never truly ended, but simply became less intense over time. The Enfield Poltergeist remains one of the most famous and controversial hauntings in history. Was it a hoax? A psychological phenomenon? Or was it truly the work of a restless spirit? The mystery endures, leaving us to wonder about the things that go bump in the night. What do you think? Could this really happen? Or is it just a story to keep us up at night? Whatever the truth, the Enfield Poltergeist reminds us that some mysteries may never be solved, and some stories never fully told. Thank you for joining us on Dark Veil Stories. If you enjoyed this tale, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a moment of the darkness. Sleep tight, if you dare.